Good evening, students. Today I am going to explain the poem because I could not stop for that. It is written by American poet Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson was born in Amherst, and as she lived a life like a nun, she is called the Nun of Amherst. In the poem, because I could not stop for that, we find that she presents that as a gentle person and not a horrifying grotesque figure. Let us see the poem. Because I could not stop for that, he kindly stopped for me. The is hell but just ourselves and immortality. The poet was busy in her work. She has no time to wait for death, but death kindly stopped for her and she started her journey with death and immortality. So, death and immortality are personified in the poem. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and leisure too for his civility. Although she was busy in her work, and as death came in front of her house by riding the horse drawn carriage, and because of his civility, she gave her work and was ready to set out her journey with that. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the field of grazing grain. We passed the setting sun. Then they passed one school where children were playing at recess, then the grazing ground and the setting sun. All this vivid picture clearly shows that they travel from one place to another place. They traveled a long distance. The travel here represents her life from childhood till death. Here we find we pass the setting sun. That means they pass the setting sun. But the very next line, or rather, he passed us. Here we find it, the sun passed them. As we find it, the sun is a constant heavenly bodies and the earth revolves around the sun. But we find it here in the poem, the sun passes them, the sun moves. There is not a constant body here. The dew dews quivering and still, for only gossamer my gown, my tippet only to lay, the thin cloth, the gossamer, the tule, the tippet, all like a nun as she usually wears is a very thin quality cloth which could not prevent her from cold. As the sun was setting, it was night and it was a cold night. She felt cold. It shows the cold quality of death. Death is lifeless, as we know. The chill quality of death is presented through the inadequate warmth of the dress, but here death has no end. After death, there is a life. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible. Since then, it's centuries. Then the horse-drawn carriage was halted in front of a house. Actually, it was not a house, it was a tomb. In the tomb, when they stopped, then she felt that the time was, the duration was a century. But it seemed to her lesser, shorter than a day. Since then is centuries and yet feels shorter than the day. I first surmised the horses' heads were towards eternity. Then she realized the heads of the horses were towards eternity and their journey was not stopped there. It is indicated that their journey will be a long journey and it will be of no end. It will continue forever. Thank you.